Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today for a very exciting Azamara webinar. My name is Anna. I'm an Industry Relations Specialist here at CLIA, and I'm going to just quickly go through some housekeeping before introducing our presenter. The webinar will run about 30 minutes with time for questions at the end. Please feel free to type your questions into the questions module of the webinar, and we'll get to them at the conclusion of the presentation. This webinar is being recorded and will be posted on CLIA's YouTube channel, which is CLIA Global. And with that, it is my pleasure to introduce our presenter, Nils Lindstad. Nils is the Associate Vice President of Sales and Trade Support for Azamara. He's worked in the cruise industry since 2001 and has been with Azamara since 2009. Nils was born and raised in Miami, Florida, and still lives there with his wife and 2 sons. And with that, take it away, Nils.
All right, thank you, Anna. Pleasure to be here with all of you to learn a little bit more about Azamara. So yes, I've been with Azamara since 2009, so I actually had my 10-year anniversary with the brand in October. So it's been a great 10 years, and lots has happened with the brand in those 10 years, and exciting to share some of the latest updates with all of you today. So I think we're going to do about 35 minutes of the presentation. We'll hopefully have about 10 minutes left for some questions at the end, so let's jump right in. So just want to really start off here with who our traveler is. So in a nutshell, they're empty nesters with an explorer mindset. So, you know, at Azamara, we're serving the high-end cruise market. We're attracting those interesting travelers from all over the world. It's a truly international feel on board. Our guests enjoy discovering unique experiences. They're choosing us because they want to dig deeper. They want to explore. They want opportunities to discover ways of life that are different than their own. And of course, connecting with those worlds and those countries that we're traveling to all over the globe. So we believe in connecting people to people, people with the cultures, and people with themselves. We bring them closer to new experiences, and they get to experience all these wonderful destinations that we get to show them. While the guests do come to us for the destination, we do like to say that they leave the ship with an appreciation and love for our crew. They go out of their way to make the guests feel comfortable, appreciated. The captains, the senior officers, you will see them walking around the ship and engaging with the guests. It's something I've never seen with any other cruise brand, and the warm and inviting crew that is on board is kind of a big catalyst for the guests to keep returning back to us. So if you've known us in the past, and if you didn't see the announcement we had in June, we did go through a little bit of a evolution, I guess I would say. So we changed the name. We used to be Azamara Club Cruises, and we did drop the Club Cruise. Pretty bold move, but in June, we had kind of launched a brand new program focusing on pre and post land programs. So we launched 1,700 pre and post programs. That is the most in the cruise industry, and it really just, you know, spoke to thinking of us outside of just a cruise line, with the fact that we really went heavy in with a lot of these land programs. So hence we dropped the Club Cruises. You'll also notice we did update our logo, so with the new name, deserves an exciting new logo. So we got 3 main features with the logo. Kind of the circle there, we left it open. We didn't want to close the circle. It speaks more to the open world that we're traveling in. You know, our commitment to connecting the guests to both the iconic and off the beaten path destinations. We got 2 artistic strokes here. One of them is representing the sea, and the other one actually is representing the land, since we've gone heavy with the 1,700 land programs. And then, of course, the star. That really speaks to our namesake. Azamara is derived from the term Akamar, which means the brightest star in the southern sky, and really represents Azamara's, the brand's North Star. So here's our fleet. We have 3 beautiful ships: the Azamara Journey, the Azamara Quest, and the Azamara Pursuit. The Azamara Pursuit is the newest addition that came to us in August 2018. All ships have been completely refurbished over the years. The Quest and the Pursuit right now do not have a casino. We had pulled the casino out. We have created what's called the Den, a wonderful venue that our guests have loved. The Journey will be going through the same transformation with getting a Den in October this year when it goes to dry dock. So each ship holds about 700 passengers. And if you're familiar, if you've been in the cruise industry a while, these are the former Renaissance ships. So we have R6, R7, and R8 is the three that we have. So I love this slide. So this really talks about destination immersion, and that is what we are known for. Kind of the line here: venture beyond the sea with more time and crafted experiences to connect to local life and culture. We like to think we have the best immersive itineraries. We're sailing worldwide. We're going to all 7 continents. I will put an asterisk on the Antarctica continent because we do sail through there, but we are not the brand where guests could actually get into a Zodiac and touch their foot on that continent, but we are sailing through there. Obviously, smaller ships. We're going to the smaller ports that the big ships can't get into. We have the ability to dock in the city center, which makes our brand very unique. We're staying longer and we're staying overnight. That is the hallmark of what Larry Pimentel, when he came in and came up with the destination immersion concept, was really slowing the ships down and staying longer in the port of call. So we're staying till 8 o'clock at night, 10 o'clock at night, or even an overnight. Country intensive voyages is something that we came out with a few years ago. This really focuses on one specific country and circumnavigates that island or that country. So last year we had 4 voyages that did Japan intensives. Literally the ship circumnavigated the whole island of Japan for 15 nights, and actually one of the sailings was 14 nights. We don't have any of those Japan intensives in 2020, but we do have them back again in 21. But outside of Japan, we have Norway intensives, Ireland intensives, Greek intensive, Israel intensive, Croatia intensives, where, again, we're just focusing on that one specific country for those cruises. World events and specialty voyages, we have those sprinkled throughout the year as well. The Monaco Grand Prix, we're religiously there every year. You got the British Open golf tournament, which we are at. Carnival in Rio. We have New Year's Eve in Rio, where the ship actually repositions off Copacabana Beach, and you can actually watch the wonderful fireworks display that they have there. So we have various opportunities there on the world events and specialty voyages every year. And then just thinking again, beyond the sea, right? So I talked about the land programs. For a 3-ship brand, it's pretty impressive that we have the most pre and post collection of land programs in the cruise industry. We have something called a complimentary Oz Amazing Evening, which is included for us. I'll go into a little bit more detail on that a little further on. Authentic local shore excursions, and again, immersive overnight experiences. We kind of pioneered staying overnight in the ports of call. And, when we first started doing it, guests would be like, oh, that's great, we're staying overnight, but what can I do at night? So, over the years, we have absolutely been able to craft some of these shore excursions and things for guests to do while we're staying overnight. And, our boutique hotel at sea, we got 3 small jewel box vessels. We have a host of included amenities. Again, I mentioned the upmarket kind of positioning that we have. Very small, intimate ships. Again, 700 passengers each. Very contemporary design. I mentioned all 3 had gone through a complete refurbishment. We went pretty much all the way down to the steel and had rebuilt the ships. Very friendly and personalized service, and of course the destination focused programming. So I mentioned the destination immersion and the longer stays and the more overnight. So this really highlights within our competitive set how Azamara differentiates ourselves and how we are the leader as it relates to late night and overnight stays. So 77% of our time in 2020, we're going to be in the port of call. That means that other 23% is sea days, right? But that is the industry leader as it relates to these other brands that are up here. The percentage of late nights and overnights, 54%, clear industry leader. And if you look at what we had done in 2019, we were at 49% of that. So we grew it by 5 percentage points in 2020. So we truly are the destination immersion brand, is clearly evident here. So I mentioned our inclusive amenities. So just kind of want to go through a rundown here. of what's included. So for all guests, I mentioned the Oz Amazing Evening. I'll talk about that one again a little more in detail in a second, but gratuities are already included. We have a standard list of spirits, beers, and wines that are included. We include water, soft drinks, specialty coffees and teas. We actually have self-service laundry on board. So if your guests or your clients are going on a 14-night vacation, they could literally pack for 7 days and do their laundry on board. We provide the soap, the dryers. There's even an iron and ironing board that's in the self-service laundry room for them to be able to do it themselves. We have shuttle service in those port communities where available. So this really speaks to if we can't get the ship docked right in the heart of the city, and let's just say, you know, the best spot in downtown is about a 10-minute trip away, we pay for shuttle buses to pick up the guests from the port and drop them off into the heart of the town. As well, we also have concierge services. In 2020, so starting this year, we created this new category called Veranda Plus. So think of this as a step up. It's right under the suite category, but a little bit higher than a balcony stateroom. So they're getting some of the amenities that our suite guests will get. So they're going to get some complimentary internet. They're going to get laundry service. So they get one bag of laundry that they can turn in themselves. So that's the ship doing the laundry, not them doing it themselves. And that's one bag for every 7 days. They're going to get complimentary specialty dining in one of our 2 specialty dining restaurants. And that's one complimentary night every 7 days. So if it is a 10-night sailing, they will get 2 complimentary specialty dining opportunities. Embarkation and priority embarkation and debarkation is included with that, as well as complimentary in-room spirits is included. I just refreshed it, so now on the right you got the suite guests. So here we're going to have butler service, so that's included for all suite guests. They also have some complimentary internet. They get laundry service as well, one bag for every 7 days. The suite guests get complimentary specialty dining throughout the vacation. So that's unlimited there if they want to dine every single night in Prime C, which is our traditional steakhouse, or Aquilina, which is our Italian restaurant. Also priority embarkation, debarkation. They get the complimentary in-room spirits. There's in-suite afternoon tea service if they want it. There's also some daily savories that they could get as well. And then for our top 12 suites, so we have 6 Club World Owner suites, 4 Club Ocean suites, and 2 Club Spa suites. They also get included a $300 onboard credit per person. So that kind of, you know, allows them to kind of do an as you wish. They want to book a spa treatment, if they would like an upgraded drinks package that includes premium alcohol. They could use it for shore excursions. So it's kind of whatever they would like to use for them. So Oz Amazing Evenings. So I mentioned this. So we have one of these included on all of our cruises except for a transatlantic and any voyages that are less than 7 nights. So these are truly authentic and unique to Azamara. They're private, they're bespoke. And these evening events are going to deliver some authentic travel moments that really brings your clients closer to the destination that they're in. Think a night out in St. Petersburg, Russia, visiting the symphony orchestra. When we're in Kushadasi, Turkey, we take the guests to Ephesus. No one else is in Ephesus when we're there doing the Oz Amazing Evening. Some classical music is being played. There's some light hors d'oeuvres. There's some wine being served. So these are truly authentic, unique, one of a kind, and it is truly a guest favorite. So now I'm going to spend a little bit more time on you know, what does this mean, venturing beyond the sea? I mentioned to you in June last year, we announced 1,700 new land programs pre and post, and really just want to kind of focus on those a little bit here. So we kind of have 4 different flavors here. The first one is overnight experiences. So these actually happen during the cruise, not pre and post. So here's one, and I'll go through a little bit more detail. So I'll give you a high level here, and then I'll go through each one of these in a little bit more detail and tie it into an itinerary here. But these just offer more ways to explore during your voyage. So sometimes you might have that client they have a set number of days that they can, you know, take a vacation, but they want to experience some of these cool and exciting things, but they can't do it pre, they can't do it post. So we have various opportunities throughout our voyages where they can experience during the voyage. So one that comes to mind, the Azamara Quest is actually down in South Africa right now, and we have an opportunity when we go to one of our ports of call that the guests can do an overnight experience and do a safari for 2 nights, and then they will meet the ship downline in another port of call. We also do offer 5-night pre and post Mikado safaris, but sometimes if you're adding the 10 nights plus the 5 nights, sometimes the client might not have 15 nights to spare, but they're down there for that 10-night cruise. If they're in that region of the world, they want to do a safari, so we have these overnight experiences. So they're 1 to 3 nights, again, happening during the voyage. Average cost is about $1,500 per person. Stay local. So this offers an in-depth exploration of one city. So think of the iconic cities that we're going to: Venice, Barcelona, Sydney, Venice. I mentioned Venice already. Sorry. Singapore. That's the one I want to get. Hong Kong. So all of these iconic cities. Buenos Aires. And these are 2 to 3 nights. So it really gives the guests an in-depth exploration. It's kind of an intensive crash course in the city, let's just call it. And again, these are pre and post, and I'll give you a little more detail on one of these once we go a little bit further here. And then we got the land journeys. So 4 to 5 nights, the average cost here, it's a little bit big ticket item, $5,600 per person. And I guess I'll just pause here real quick and mention, so all of these land programs are commissionable at 10%. So this particular one, $5,600 per person, you will be earning $560 in commission per person for selling them the Land Journeys product. So, these are also visiting various different cities, allows your clients to see them from many different vantage points. They last anywhere, again, like I said, for 4 to 5 nights. It's about a 24 to 18 passengers on these land journeys, so still kind of small groups. It includes the accommodations. Usually there's going to be a 4 to 5 star hotels, a boutique inn, could be a luxury lodge. And then I'll talk about our Amazing journeys. So these are once in a lifetime bucket list experiences. These are anywhere from 5 to 6 nights, a little bit higher cost, about $6,000 per person, but these are unbelievable experiences, once in a lifetime. So, with these Amazing journeys, the guests are fully going to dive into the local culture. They're going to have up close explanations and interactive experiences with locals. Could be a historian, could be a professor, could be a connoisseur. In all of these packages, just to tell you, breakfast is included on pretty much all of them. Select meals as well are included. All the transfers to and from the ship, to or from the airport, in between the land tour cities. If there's a flight that's needed to some of these, that is all included in the fare. We also pay for a private tour director to escort the group. Of course, they're dedicated, ensuring all the details are taken care of, and really just making sure that it's a stress-free trip for the guests. And I mentioned, meeting some of the local experts along the way. It could be a geologist, a naturalist, a sommelier, maybe an astronomer, a wildlife tracker if they're doing a safari. So, okay, let's just jump right in here and talk about, so I mentioned the first one, kind of the overnight experience. So we're really going to be focusing on this itinerary here, which was an 8-night Rome to Barcelona. And if you can see this itinerary, I'd mentioned about the longer stays and the more overnights, right? So that first night, you can see we're going to be staying in Elba till 10. We're overnighting in Florence, which is allowing me to, I'll talk about the overnight experience, right? We're going to be in Monte Carlo overnighting. We get there at 8 a.m. on that Saturday, and we're not leaving till 6 p.m. the next day. Provence, we're there till 5 p.m., and then in the end, we're overnighting in Barcelona as well. So just a step back to here. So the Tuscan countryside, Florence and Pisa. So here, we're going to see the iconic Leaning Tower of Pisa. There's free time to explore the area where the tower is. Guests get to enjoy a trolley ride through Pisa, learn about the city's history, the architecture. They'll get to visit a Tuscan farmhouse, have a beautiful lunch with farm to table. a farm-to-table menu. They'll get to spend a lovely evening at a hotel in the heart of Florence. They'll have a full day guided exploration of the city to enjoy the art and the architecture. And of course, a delicious dinner and lunch are included in Florence while exploring the city. So the next one I want to talk about was just, what would you do in a stay local experience in Barcelona? So kind of the itinerary we're focusing in here is an 8-night Iberia intensive voyage. So it's one of our intensive voyages. So we got 7 ports on this one, 3 late nights. We have 2 overnights. So we're starting in Lisbon. The overnight here you can see is in Valencia. We're also overnighting on the tail end in Barcelona. And so really, this stay local experience, you could either do a 3-night pre or a 3-night post. In this instance, we're at Barcelona at the end, so it will be a 3-night post. This one starts at $16.99 per person for those 3 nights. Some of the highlights that the guests would see on this one, they would get to visit La Sagrada Familia, of course. They would get to go see the Maritime Museum. They would spend some time at the Picasso Museum. They would also be taken to Las Ramblas, where they could explore. If you don't know what Las Ramblas is, it's one of the world's most famous walking streets, which is in Barcelona. Great people watching, great place to grab a coffee or a snack. Street performers are all out there. So it's truly a wonderful experience. And again, that's post. You can add on that stay local experience for the 8-night Iberia intensive from Lisbon to Barcelona. The next I'll talk about, so this is on our land journey. So this is Moscow en route. So obviously Moscow is landlocked, so you can't get there from a cruise ship. So we give you the opportunity either from Stockholm or from Copenhagen to go experience a few days in Moscow. Again, this would include the flights to get the guests there. So this would be occurring on our 15-night Baltic highlights voyage. We got 8 total ports. We got 2 late nights. We have 5 overnights on this itinerary. If you see, we're actually in St. Petersburg, Russia for a full 3 days, 2 nights. We get there at 8 a.m., overnight one day, overnight a second day, and we're there till 6 p.m. And this one also, too, on the top right, you can see it's got this Perry Golf logo. So I just want to take a quick second to pause about them. So Perry Golf is a company that Azamara has partnered with and worked with for about 8 years now, 7 or 8 years. We've had this partnership, and they are the industry leader in golf vacations. So if you have any golf clients, I encourage you to check out our website and our travel partner website. I'll tell you how to get to the travel partner website. But Perry Golf has about 8 to 10 a year. When I could just walk up and say, I'd like to play golf here today. So they take care of everything, soup to nuts. The greens fees are included. They include an upgraded beverage package. They have prices for golfers or non-golfers, because sometimes the spouse isn't a golfer. But wonderful company. We've had a great partnership with them. So again, Perry Golf, if you have any golf enthusiasts, I highly recommend checking them out. So let's go back to Moscow en route. So some of the highlights of this land journey are, you're going to go visit all the signature sites in Moscow, right? The Red Square, the Kremlin, the Bolshoi Theater, St. Basil's Cathedral, Victory Park, all the while seeing, these amazing panoramic city views. At the Kremlin, we would have access to a local historian. We would get to go to, sorry, I'm tongue-tied here a little bit, but a local historian will guide the guests through Moscow's famed fortress. Included is also an extensive tour of the Armory Museum, which has a collection of weaponry, jewels, and costumes. There's opportunities to connect with the locals, exploring the famed metro stations, places like Arbat Street, very narrow streets where they can take a stroll on one of the oldest streets in Moscow. Venture outside the city to Sergiev Posad, which is an ancient city and UNESCO World Heritage Site. It's just northeast of Moscow, and it's famous for its 14th century monastery. And of course, what would a trip to Moscow be without sampling the food and drink? There'll be a visit to the Museum of Vodka to learn about Russia's natural drink and sample a few varieties with typical Russian chasers and have a traditional Russian dinner. So this land journey actually includes 4 nights of accommodation at the Ritz-Carlton Moscow. And as I mentioned, would also include the flight between Moscow and the city of Embark. Truly a remarkable and a wonderful experience to be able to add this on post-cruise to get your clients inland to see Moscow. So the next one that I will talk about is an Azamazing journey. So again, these are the once in a lifetime bucket list adventures. This one we'll be talking about is Castellos and Wines of Tuscany. So from sweeping valleys, vineyards, and hilltop villages to the magnificent centers of art and architecture, Tuscany has a wealth of indulgences in store for your guests. Your guests will get to spend 2 nights at the Belmont Castello de Casol. It's a 10th century castle in the heart of Tuscany. They'll also get a 3rd night at the renowned Castello Banfi. During the day, they get to immerse themselves in the Tuscan sun with a nice Chianti. They'll be visiting wineries. They'll have a cooking class, a guided tour to Orvieto, Siena, Samigiano, Monteriggioni. My Italian's not so great, so don't don't judge me on that. But again, all those are packaged with a wine tasting and a lunch. This would be leaving 3 nights from Rome. So we tie it into this itinerary here, which starts in Nice and ends in Rome. 7 ports, 4 late nights, and 1 overnight. And the price for this one starts at $48.99 per person. So it's a great commissionable price to you. Again, that's 10%, so that's about $490 per guest that you would be receiving. But I mean, to be able to stay 2 nights in one castle, 1 night in another castle, all these unbelievable packaged wine tastings, lunch, the transfers are included. It truly is a once-in-a-lifetime memorable experience to visit this in Tuscany. Here's some pictures of the region that they would be in during this adventure. All right, so that's kind of a high level breaking down each one of the 4 different options we have on the land program. We have so many more different flavors of this, but really just want to kind of give you a highlight. The best place to get educated on Azamara further is cruisingpower.com/Azamara, if you can see the link there. We really do like to think of ourselves as the industry leaders in trade engagement and education. If you go to cruisingpower/Azamara, we have our Azamara World Academy, wonderful place for you to go to learn more about Azamara. After you've taken the World Academy, probably take you about 2.5 hours, depending on how well you know or don't know Azamara. If you sell 3 voyages within the first 90 days after taking that course, you will earn a free voyage on Azamara. Wonderful benefit. So Trade Connect, that's our monthly trade newsletter. So once you're registered with Cruising Power with us, just make sure you are opted into our emails to get that monthly newsletter. Our Travel Partner Connection page. So one-stop shop to get our latest flyers, digital brochures, learn about a new offer. There's recorded webinars that are there. Learn more about all the land programs I talked about. From there, you can also get to our travel partner asset library. if you need any logos, if you need destination pictures, that's the place to go to. And then we also do, last year we came out with our first ever travel advisor selling guide. So here you can get a digital version, or you could also order a printed copy as well. So the TP connection page I already talked about, cruisingpower.com/Azamara. So kind of on the screen there, you see the save up to 40% off. So that is our current offer during Wave. We have close to 100 voyages that are on this, going all the way from starting in the April 2020 all the way through September 21. So really a huge selection of our itineraries are on this. And actually right now, what is today? Thursday. So still running. We have what we call our discovery sale, which ends tomorrow. And that does layer on a $500 onboard credit if you book select sailings in Q2 and Q3 2020 that are focusing on Northern Europe. Again, so that would offer the up to 40% off plus a $500 onboard credit with our discovery sale. And that is for Northern Europe itineraries that are in Q2 and Q3, select itineraries. So we talked about our destination guide. So we have our 2020 guide that is available to order to you. 2021, we're also open all the way through the first quarter of 22. So you can order that destination guide as well. And any Azamara fans out there that, you know, have the loyalty guests that are wondering about all of 2022. So by the end of March is when we're anticipating opening the full year 2022. So I mentioned the travel advisor selling guide. So here, again, you can order it here. And then that is our land program guide, which you will see on the right there. Just wanted to quickly put in a slide here about growing your group business. At Azamara, we love groups. You know, so think about yacht groups, think about golf groups. I had mentioned about the Perry Golf. We've had bridge, you know, the card game groups. We've had knitting groups. We've had horticultural groups that, you know, I mentioned kind of the specialty voyages. A few years ago, we were actually at the Chelsea Flower Show, so we had a great group of enthusiasts who would love that. We have had clients. They were, how do I say it? They're Porsche enthusiasts, and they did a group with us on the Monaco Grand Prix because they love car racing. So really try to think about, you know, your group business and how you could kind of target those groups with Azamara, because it is a home run to be able to put them on with us. And I talked about the crew earlier on, but really just want to show this picture here. So definitely our heart, our soul, our crew. The top list there is our wonderful captains that we have on board. The middle row there is our hotel directors. And then the bottom row there is our activities directors. Many of these folks have been with us. I've been with the brand 10 years. Quite a few of these folks that are on here have been here even longer than I have. And I would say on average, probably it's about 9 years of tenure that these guys have been here, if you put it all together with some of the new faces and the ones that have been here. But they are definitely the heart and soul of our ships and our brand. And here's kind of just a quick overview of our sales team in North America. So we have Lori Goldspiel. She's our director of sales in the West, and she leads a team of 4 sales managers. Our national account manager, Lisa Alvarez, actually reports to Lori as well. And then Katie Gerhardt is our director of sales in the East. She has 5 sales managers that report to her. Jocelyn Saldana, she's our account executive that is supporting Lisa on the national accounts. And then we have 2 wonderful inside sales support specialists, Damaris Mesa, she works with the West Coast team, and Vanessa Janvier, she works with the East Coast team. So that's kind of a quick update on Azamara. Really appreciate you guys taking the time today to be here with me. And Anna, I think we're right on that about 35 minutes that we went. So I know we got about 10 minutes for any questions there might be.
Perfect. We do have some questions coming in. Our first one is from Dana, who is wondering how Azamara wheelchair accessibility is for power wheelchair clients on board and on excursions.
So on the excursion side, it will vary depending on what the excursion is and where we are. But we are an accessible cruise line. We do have staterooms that are accessible. But as far as the shore excursions and even some of these land programs, it can be accommodated. We just need to understand better which specific ones they're looking at and try to see how we can accommodate the best we can.
Okay, got it. Our next question is from Deborah, who is wondering if loyal celebrity cruisers get incentives on board Azamara.
Yes, so that's a very good question, Deborah. So Celebrity, our sister brand, we actually share the loyalty database with them. So their Captain's Club number is actually the same number for our loyalty program, Le Club Voyage. So we do have reciprocal benefits. If those Celebrity members actually do sail on Azamara, they're earning points towards Celebrity as well as Azamara, and vice versa. If they're sailing on Celebrity, they're earning points that count towards Azamara as well. Obviously, our main parent company, Royal Caribbean, as well. They're Crown and Anchor. There are reciprocal benefits as well between Crown and Anchor and our loyalty program too. All those details could be found on our Travel Partner Connection page, where we have kind of the loyalty reciprocal benefits.
Okay, that's fantastic. I didn't know that. So good information. Our next question is from Valerie, who is wondering when you'll be coming to the United States, or if you're in Miami or Fort Lauderdale.
So that's a very good question. So we were in Miami last year. We were one of the few lines that were actually able to go to Cuba. And I think all of you know, it was about June last year when that was no longer allowed to happen. So we were back in Miami in November and December this year, 2019. We had about 5 sailings in and out of Miami, and the next sailing out of Miami will be stopping through in March 2020 when we're coming up from South America. We have a Lima to Miami sailing that leaves March 2nd, and then on March 23rd we have a Miami to Lisbon transatlantic voyage. But then beyond that, we're not back in Miami until, I want to say it's Q2 21, I think, is the next time, Anna.
Okay, got it. This next question from Jeffrey is, he is wondering when the Japan cruises are in 2021 or 2022.
So in 2021, hold on, Jeffrey, I'll give you the exact date. Okay, so we have April 11th on the Pursuit is a 15-night Japan intensive, and April 26th as well on the Pursuit is another 15-night Japan intensive. 2021.
Perfect. Okay, got it. We have a few people wondering about kids on board, if there's an average age or a minimum age for kids.
You know, what I like to say is, you know, we're not like our sister brand Royal, so we don't have a kids club, we don't have a rock climbing wall, you know, but what I do like to say is, you know, if they're well-traveled kids, if the parents want to expose the kids to, you know, these unbelievable cultures and destinations that we're going to, by all means, you know, they're welcome, right? We don't turn away kids. I will say it's, you know, we don't get many children. In the summertime, it could probably be a little bit higher, obviously because they're out of school and maybe around the holidays. But, you know, if I have a 5-year-old and a 6-year-old, and I have not taken them on Azamara yet, but I definitely do plan to, you know, when they start getting into 10 or 11 years old, when I think they can appreciate it more. And again, really me just wanting to expose them to those different cultures and destinations that we go to.
Okay, that makes sense. Dana is wondering if you have a club level suite with separate dining facilities.
We do not at this time.
Okay, that was easy. Dana's also wondering if you have book on board incentives, and if so, does the original agent get commission on the future cruise?
Yes, so we absolutely do have a future cruise team on board. The savings do vary depending on their loyalty status. Could be anywhere from 3% to 10% discount. And yes, we do recognize the travel partner that they had booked with. We do rebook it with that same travel partner, and it is commissionable at the full commission they would normally get.
Perfect. Tyrell is wondering if you can share anything about future expansion of the fleet, if there's going to be any new ships.
Very good question. So, I've been here 10 years, and Larry Pimentel is our brand president and CEO, and I, prior to coming here, I actually worked with Larry as well at Sea Dream Yacht Club for 8 years. So I've had the privilege of working with Larry for 18 years, and, when he came here in 2009, he said, I didn't come to Azamara to only be a 2-ship operation. So finally got out of the 2-ship operation a couple of years ago when we got the Pursuit, so we grew to 3. But I would say everyone that is on the Azamara team is passionate about growing this brand. Royal Caribbean builds amazing, beautiful ships. So it is what we're all striving for. Last year was our best year ever as a brand. So no announcements yet, but hopefully in a near future, you will be hearing something soon.
Okay, very exciting. Our next question is from Shamoon, who is wondering how disability accommodations are handled, and if you can speak a little bit about if clients have dietary restrictions or any sort of special needs, how that is all handled.
So we do have an accessible department that they would just need to contact, and they can help them with any needs that they have. Dietary restrictions, it's just we just need to know if they're allergic to shellfish. Whatever it could be, if someone is vegan, we can absolutely help work on that. It's just all about letting us know ahead of time, and the ship will plan accordingly.
Okay, perfect. Samantha is wondering if you can provide more details about the den in your ships.
Sure. So the den is on deck 5. It was where the casino was. We have brought up our shore excursions desk, which was on deck 4, kind of where guest relations was, and our future cruise team. So the shore excursion desk is now in a more prominent location, easier access for the guests, as well as our future cruise. We have a piano there that we have live music that's played in the evening. We kept the used to be called the casino bar, but the bar is still there, and it's really just become more of a central and focal point for the guests. The casino for us, with us being in port so often and staying longer, it really wasn't even allowed to be open too often, right? So it was kind of a dead area, and this has really just helped energize it. And during the day, the team will do trivia here. It's a great place to just unwind and relax. There's a TV where sporting events could be shown as well. So it's actually, turned out to be a great place for our guests to socialize and gather, pre-dinner, after dinner, and guests love the live piano music.
That sounds so great. And it looks like we have just one more question. You touched on this, but if you can elaborate a little. Dana is wondering what your group's policy is.
Sure. So standard groups for us is 8 staterooms. Occasionally we might come out with a promotion where it might be under 8, but we do offer gap points where you could use those gap points for a private cocktail party, could be onboard credit. If you have, and for us, the maximum group without having to go to kind of a contract is about 25 staterooms, 50 guests. If you go any larger than that, we would require kind of a contract to be taken out. We do also require a nominal deposit when you take out a group, which is as long as you get one booking, that deposit rolls into that first booking. Or if you needed to shift it to another sailing, we're very flexible as it relates to that. The TC policy is 1 for 16. You could use the gap points to buy down the TC to as low as 1 for 12. Trying to think what else about groups, but I mean the best way, Dana, I would do is if you have good prospects with some groups, is to gauge with your local sales manager and have them help you and guide you through it.
Okay, perfect. And that wraps up our questions. Thank you so much, Nils, for all the wonderful information, and thank you everyone for joining us.
Thanks, Anna. Thanks, everyone. Have a great day.
Bye.
Bye.